You bite into a pineapple. A few seconds later, your tongue starts to burn. Most people blame the acid. That's not what's happening. The pineapple is digesting you. Literally, right now, inside your mouth, an enzyme in that fruit is breaking down the surface of your tongue, the same way it breaks down meat. And here's the strange part. There's a trick that stops it completely. Most people have never heard of it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening in your mouth and how to make it stop. Inside every cell of a fresh pineapple, there's a chemical called bromelain. Bromelain is what scientists call a proteolytic enzyme. Break that down. Proteo means protein. Lytic means to cut apart. Bromelain is a protein cutting machine. The moment you bite into raw pineapple, you rupture those cells. Bromelain floods into the juice. And the second that juice touches your mouth, it gets to work. Your mouth is lined with a thin protective layer of mucus and surface cells. Both of them are made of protein. And bromelain doesn't care that they're part of you. It starts snipping them apart. The tingling you feel, that slight roughness, that burning sensation, that's not your imagination. That's the feeling of your own tissue being slowly broken down. Here's the good news. Your mouth fights back fast. The cells on the surface of your tongue are among the quickest regenerating cells in your entire body. Within a few hours, the damage is repaired. And once you swallow the pineapple, your stomach acid destroys the bromelain almost immediately. The attack is real, but it's also very short-lived. Scientists didn't formally identify bromelain until 1891, when a Venezuelan chemist named Vicente Marcano first isolated it from pineapple juice. But the people of Central and South America had already been using its power for centuries. They discovered that wrapping tough cuts of meat in pineapple leaves or marinating them in the juice made the meat incredibly tender. They didn't have the word enzyme. They didn't need it. They had observed that pineapple breaks down flesh, and they used it. They also applied pineapple directly to wounds and skin injuries to reduce swelling and help healing. Pineapple juice was used to treat digestive issues and stomach pain. They had stumbled onto something real, and modern medicine would eventually confirm all of it. When Christopher Columbus arrived in the Caribbean in 1493, the Guadeloupe people introduced him to the fruit. Europeans had never seen it before. They brought it back to Europe, where it became one of the most expensive and coveted foods in the world. But the enzyme inside it remained a mystery for nearly 400 more years. In the mid-20th century, workers in industrial pineapple canneries spent entire shifts cutting fresh fruit by hand, and they noticed something strange. After days or weeks of constant exposure, the concentrated bromelain would slowly wear down the ridges on their fingertips. The texture of their skin became noticeably smoother. The fingerprints didn't disappear permanently. They always grew back once workers used gloves or took a few days off. But the temporary effect was visible enough that people noticed and talked about it. Think about what that tells you about the enzyme's power. Repeated, concentrated contact with bromelain, not once, not twice, but day after day for hours, was enough to visibly alter the surface of human skin. A fruit slowly reshaping human tissue through nothing but chemistry. The solution was simple: gloves. Once the industry moved to protective equipment, the issue went away completely. But it became one of the most striking demonstrations of just how aggressive this natural enzyme really is. Here's a question worth asking. Why does pineapple have this enzyme at all? The answer is defense. Bromelain serves as a protective mechanism for the plant. When insects or pests try to eat into the pineapple, the enzyme attacks the proteins in their bodies. It's an internal chemical deterrent, a way of making the fruit dangerous to eat for things that shouldn't be eating it. Interestingly, the fruit itself contains bromelain. but the stem has the highest concentration of all. Scientists believe this is because the stem is the most structurally important part of the plant. More bromelain there means better protection for the part that holds everything together. Bromelain also plays a role in how the pineapple develops and ripens. It's not purely defensive, it's part of the plant's internal chemistry throughout its entire life cycle. The fact that it happens to dissolve the proteins in our mouths is almost incidental. We just happen to be made of the same stuff the plant was designed to fight off. Here's where the story takes a genuinely surprising turn. The same enzyme that causes discomfort in your mouth is now being used in hospitals. Bromelain was introduced as a therapeutic agent in 1957. Since then, clinical trials have found it effective in a range of medical applications. Dressings containing bromelain are used in hospitals to treat severe burns. The enzyme selectively breaks down dead and damaged tissue, a process called debridement, while leaving healthy cells untouched. This speeds up healing without the need for surgery. Bromelain is also used routinely in Europe after nasal, sinus, and trauma surgeries to reduce swelling, bruising, and pain. Some studies show it reduces post-operative swelling better than standard anti-inflammatory drugs. Athletes use it for sports injuries. Dentists recommend it after wisdom tooth extractions. It's even being researched as a potential cancer therapy and cardiovascular treatment. A molecule that made your tongue sting at breakfast has become a tool in modern medicine. So if you want to enjoy pineapple without the burning sensation, you have two options. Both of them work. The first is heat. Bromelain is destroyed at high temperatures. This is exactly why canned pineapple never stings your mouth. The pasteurization process during canning kills the enzyme completely. The second trick is salt water. A short soak in lightly salted water slightly changes the shape of the bromelain molecule, enough to stop it from binding to the proteins in your mouth. It doesn't affect the flavor noticeably, it just disarms the enzyme before it reaches you. Both methods come from real science, and both of them are things you can do in your own kitchen. So the next time you eat a fresh pineapple and feel that familiar burn, you'll know exactly what's happening. An enzyme that evolved to protect a tropical plant is doing its job on your tongue. The same chemical that indigenous people used to soften meat is breaking down your surface cells. And the same molecule causing that discomfort is being used by surgeons to heal burn victims. It's a fruit, armed with a microscopic protein cutting machine. That just happens to taste incredible. Thanks for watching Unknown Behind Known Things. If this changed how you think about the food on your plate, subscribe. There are a lot more stories hiding in ordinary things. See you in the next one.